Hello everyone. On today's episode, I am discussing 3 reasons why you absolutely need to be making art that you love. The genesis for this episode was a YouTube episode over on Kelsey Rodriguez's channel. If you haven't subscribed to her or checked her out, I highly recommend her channel. I'll have a link in the show notes so you can go and watch all of her hundreds or thousands of episodes if you'd like. So in one of the latest episodes, she happened to ask if her audience was really making art that they love. Now, I believe this was in the context of, what to do if your art career isn't really moving forward. And she said, ask yourself if you're really making art that you love. And the question stood out to me so much that I actually wrote myself a little email reminder to make art you love. And over the past week, I was treating this statement as a bit of a mantra. And so for my longer term followers, you've probably noticed that I've actually been a little bit disillusioned with print on demand. My enthusiasm for these platforms as a way to make money as an artist has really started waning. The one exception I would say is Spoonflower for those of you that are interested in making patterns, and I love making patterns, so I still highly recommend Spoonflower for those of you that like to make patterns or make fabric, because this kind of thing you're not going to make on your own as an original necessarily, right? If you want to make and create patterns, you'll probably need to do it on print on demand or eventually license to a big company for commercial sale. So while I was treating this make art you love as my mantra over the past week, it started really cueing me in to why I was starting to be disillusioned with print on demand. For those of us that are focused on these type of platforms, and I mean things like Redbubble, Society6, TeePublic, there are so many others, it can feel so crowded and so hard to get seen on these platforms that we can end up simply just following trends all the time, trying to play the algorithm so that someone will see our art, and focusing on making art that we think someone will love if they see it, but fearing that they won't even see it unless it's following a trend. And focusing so much on this trend writing, we often, or at least I do, we can start to lose our very purpose for making art and forget it. We can actually completely forget to make art we love because we become so focused on this goal of making something that someone might see and we might make 50 cents or $5 off of. And it's really a shame. And then also this week, something wonderful happened. I got word from my gallery in the Los Angeles area that's showing a bunch of my pieces at the moment that one of my pieces sold. Yay! And this gallery isn't even a sales-focused gallery. So it was even more of a surprise because I totally was not expecting it. So it was just really great news for me. And the piece that sold was one of my fine art pieces that I made at the very beginning of the COVID pandemic. The piece was a true reflection of my feelings at the time, and it was made in my own kind of personal signature style that I've developed over the years. I had a bit of a hiatus, maybe a couple of years from making art on a consistent basis. I was still making art, and COVID and the stay-at-home orders actually kind of triggered a bit of a renaissance in my art making. And I started making a bunch of pieces that were focused on the pandemic. And so, like what I would assume with most artists, my fine art originals sell for so much more than the amount I make off of an average print on demand sale. I would say like an average artist, my pieces sell in the hundreds. I'm not at the point in my art career where I'm selling my pieces in the thousands range, and I just personally do not believe in selling originals under the hundreds kind of mark. for me, it's just not worth it. It's more worth it to either hold on to the piece or get rid of it because I don't want to devalue my other art. So this whole story leads me to the first reason why you need to be making art that you love. And that is because over time, at least in my own personal experience, you are actually going to make more money from an original fine art piece filled with passion that you're really into, that you're willing to promote so much that you get it into shows and galleries and you're proud to show people, then you're going to make from print on demand. Just the reality, even if you sold a piece and you only made $200, that's the equivalent probably of about 200 print on demand sales, depending on what product someone's buying. It could be more and it could be less, but think about that. 200 print on demand sales. That's like receiving an email out of every 3 days from one of your print on demand sites saying you made a sale. And while listening to a lot of these print on demand gurus, you would think that this is happening to the average artist on print on demand. I would say you'd have to be really the exception, not the rule, if you're selling something on print on demand. Now, of course, it's our hope, but it's probably not going to happen. And yet, selling a piece in the hundreds once a year is actually not that unattainable at all. It's likely to happen if you keep making art you love. And as I said, love it so much, you're promoting it, putting it out there. So over time, you really are probably going to make more money off of putting your passion and energy into artwork that you love. Well, you might be the lucky one that really succeeds and hits it big on print on demand. That's like saying you're banking your whole career on going viral again and again. And while it might happen, it might not. So the more solid choice is do the art you love. But this is not the only reason. It's certainly not just about money. The second reason you need to be doing art that you love is your own confidence and self-esteem. And let me tell you why. If you do get quote unquote lucky enough to hit it really big with some art that you don't love, that you're not super proud of and super passionate about, then that is what you're going to be known for. And while in the short term, it might feel really good to be like, I made a $2 sale every single day this month, when your name, your face, and reputation gets to be known with art that you're not proud of, you are probably not going to feel as good about it and as confident as you think you will, or enough to weigh off that little tiny hit of, oh my gosh, I made enough this week to pay for a cup of coffee at Starbucks or whatever coffee shop you like to go to, or like, woohoo, I worked all month and I can buy a piece of avocado toast. Folks, it's not good to become known for something you're not proud of. And worse, it's going to be really tempting to keep making more of that art that you don't love if you do make money from it, because you're going to think, okay, I can make more of this and then make more money. And then pretty soon you're just becoming more and more known for art that you don't love. And you're probably not going to enjoy making art that you don't love. And if you do enjoy making it, then maybe you have to reframe what I'm saying about art you love. Because if you love making it, then you kind of love it in some way. But I'm talking about art that you don't love making, you don't want to become known for it, and you don't want to spend your time making it. So it's better to spend your time making art that you love. And even if it takes you longer to become known for it, when you do become known for it, you're going to be proud of it and you're going to want to tell people about it. And you're going to feel good about yourself because you know it's a true reflection of you and your efforts. The third reason why you need to be making art that you love is, as I've talked about on this channel before, there are so many other ways to make money faster and easier than from an art career. It does not make sense to be an artist in terms of having an art career if you're not making art that you love. Folks, it doesn't make any sense. if you're not making art you love at least a good portion of the time, then folks, I'm telling you, you should just go make money from something else. Just go get a different kind of job that you'll make more money per hour, and then you can be your own patron of the art. You can make art and not worry about making money from it because you are supporting your art career. And then you can enjoy your art because you're making the art you love and not feel like art is just another piece of work that you don't love and is less profitable, and you start to probably resent making art. Okay, so those are 3 reasons that you need to be making art you love. I am positive that you can think of some more reasons, and I would love it if you put them in the comment below. Also, if you're not making art you love, why aren't you? I'm also interested to hear that. And this is from someone that over the past year's journey of doing print on demand, I admit I started down a route where I wasn't always making art I love. Now, some of this was for practice purposes, but I think I really was kind of getting lost in the chain. And I'm hoping this episode is not only a reminder to myself, but will help one of you out there. Okay, if you found value in this episode, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and consider subscribing. And until next time, keep creating art you love.